Hey guys, welcome to my 18th episode. I can't believe I've done 18 so far. This is crazy. My goal is 22, but let's be real. I'm going to keep going after 22. All right, some fun stuff coming up. I have a giant race in May. Right before Memorial Day weekend, I start Thursday morning and I get to run until Sunday at 4 or until I hit 200 miles, whichever comes first. If that kind of thing makes you smile and you want to help me out, I'm looking for pacers. Basically, just someone to walk with me Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It's 9 miles. You could bring a bike, I think, or just walk slowly with me and help me to not stop. It's in Renton and it's 9-mile loop and it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday before Memorial Day weekend. Or of Memorial Day weekend. So send me a message and let me know. Also, feel free to send me a message if you have any questions about any of these episodes. Shout out to Todd, my number one listener. He always sends me really great feedback on my episodes. And he does ask me questions, but honestly, I didn't write anything down. So sorry, Todd. Let me know if you have any more questions. Also, if I ever talk about my friend in Florida, I'm talking about Todd. Speaking of Todd, he has a marathon tomorrow, his first. And as soon as he's done, I'm going to say, cool, whatever. When are you going to do your first ultra? Because that's the kind of friend I am. The episode with Nichol that you're going to hear is amazing. She's a unicorn and a Care Bear and a ray of sunshine. There's so many adjectives that describe her. Our episode is really, really good. We laugh a lot and we cry a little bit and we share great stories. Like, for example, when she was a music missionary in Papua New Guinea. That's a good story. She has a story about a koala bear in Australia. I share a whole bunch of stories as usual, but then I cut most of them out. If you have any questions about anything I cut out, please send me a message on the Skagit Storytellers Instagram page and maybe I'll answer them. Upcoming shows. Oh, tonight, if I get this out soon, tonight in Bellingham, Lazy Acres is playing with 2 other bands at the Blue Room. Even though it starts at 9, I'm going to attempt to go. So we'll see how that goes. And Saturday night in Concrete, Pretty Much Nothing and Bare Feet are playing. The Concrete Theater is such a great place for a show. It's a really good venue. If you've never been there, it's a 100-year-old theater in downtown Concrete. Concrete is more than just driving by on Highway 20 by the silos. You should drive 1 block up into town and check out 5B's, the liquor store, the Hub, Lone Star, the ice cream parlor, movie theater, all that fun stuff. And the Knot Hole, a gift shop, is going to be opening hopefully this summer. Lisa's going to be in charge of that and she's awesome. What else? Oh, Olive's softball is going really well. She went 0 for 1 yesterday, but with 3 walks, and she got 3 girls out on first base. So it's been really fun to watch the team improve with every game. It's pretty awesome. Shout out to CJ for coaching his daughter's team. I knew he was going to. He helps out Jake and Cody, and Jake's a really, really great coach, and so is Cody. So thanks for doing that, guys. What else? It's finally sunny out. Exciting news about that. I think it's gonna hopefully hold out for a few days. There's a lot of shows coming up, a lot of events coming up. There's a race in Concrete coming up next weekend, and I'm helping out with that a lot. And then there's a big event early June in Concrete, which I will share about very soon. I'm very, very excited for that. Lots of fun stuff this summer. Olive and I are going to a couple really big races this summer, checking out some endurance athletes and what they can do. Yeah, besides that, I really don't want to talk too much. Nicole's episode is great. So I really, really think you should listen to it. We talk about a few different people in the episode and we talk about how we met. And my friend Garrett and I were sitting at Russ and Tanya's table at a show, and they actually came into the liquor store to see Jack and his friends perform last Saturday, and I was pouring them beer, and I said, "You look really familiar." And so we made the connection. Oh yeah, we met at in Conway, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm actually gonna put Nicole's episode out soon." And I actually met her friend Cheryl there as well, although I didn't realize it was Cheryl until after. So Russ, Tanya, and Cheryl are all mentioned in the episode, and I think I'm definitely going to record with Cheryl. I guess she hiked the PCT, which I think is amazing. I've only had one experience on the PCT, and I'll definitely share that story at some point. I think it was a couple of years ago now. Yeah, my first time there. It's a really, really cool area. I've never actually been to the Rainier National Park, so that was my first time. It was a very, very busy weekend, but it was worth it. Softball, upcoming shows. I think I begged people to pace me in my race. Yeah, that's about it. That's really it, you guys. I can't tell you how much I feel awkward talking to myself. If you have any questions, send me a message. If you have any guest suggestions, send me a message. Thanks again to Clay, who wrote me that awesome intro song for this podcast. And I'm open to more. Not that Clay's is not good. It's actually fantastic, and I don't think anyone can top it, but try. Send me something. So I appreciate that. All right. Have a fantastic day. It's Friday. It's going to be a great weekend. Go do something hard.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers with Liz Rankin.
Episodes, and every episode I'll get better, and
exactly.
Anyway, so all right, I'll call this shit out. Okay, so I like to talk about how we met.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Nicole, I met you at the Conway Muse. I went to a show there because my buddy was in town from Everett, and I said, hey, we should go to the show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And so on his way back to Everett, because he was in Concrete with me all day, we went to the Conway Muse and saw Jack and Friends, I believe.
Jack and Friends, I think.
Yeah. And there was nowhere to sit because obviously very popular, and we got there late. And so we crashed this tiny table with these two people. I forget their names.
Russ and Tanya.
From Lake Stevens.
Yep.
So nice.
Amazing humans.
So
one
nice.
of my favorite people in the world.
And then you just kind of like showed up right behind us, and I was like, who's this? And you're singing every song, and you were dancing, and I thought, I want to go to concerts with you. I don't even know who you are.
I wasn't even wearing my tutu. I'm known as the tutu girl.
Is that what you're known as?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or unicorn girl.
So how did that start?
Because I wear a tutu to every show. Because why wouldn't you?
Every concert ever, or just Jack's concerts?
I would wear a tutu every day of my life if I could.
Okay.
I just think they're magical, and it makes every outfit more fun, and you can twirl. And
I like how you said if I could. Like, is your boss like, lay off the tutus?
No.
This is illegal. Or like, why? You could.
I could. But then I think it would maybe lose the magic because
Oh.
it doesn't become special anymore. If you're doing it all the time, even though I want to do it all the time, then the specialness sort of wears off.
That's true. So you generally save it for like events.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
just moments
Yeah.
that matter.
Yeah. So should I be disappointed that you're not wearing it right now?
I do have some in the car, which if we need to go, we can go load up.
BYOT.
Exactly. BYOT.
I love it. That's
Yep.
awesome. And also the reason why I think we started talking was you showed your Kevin Bacon post.
Yes.
And I had seen it.
Yes, we're
already.
like 1 degree separation.
I know. I'm like, you're famous because I've seen that picture.
I felt really famous for a hot second. I freaked out. I was a little disappointed. So we have a bacon fest for my friends host this annual Super Bowl party.
Oh.
And it's bacon fest. So you always have to bring something with bacon in it. And I usually
Generally a dish.
generally a dish. And usually by the end of it, I feel like I want to just roll out of there. I feel disgusting. I feel like I've eaten an entire swine. And so I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to mix it up. So I printed off some pictures of Kevin Bacon, and we taped them to our shirts and just thought we would bring Kevin Bacon to Bacon Fest instead. Just mix it up. And then I think I brought like a salad with no bacon.
Good. Yeah.
Just to like give people an option.
Yeah.
And so then I put it on Twitter because
why not?
It would be fun to see.
Yeah.
And he tweeted back the next day. And he was like, thanks for bringing me to your bacon fest. It was fun. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm famous. And there's the like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So then everyone in relationship to me now has 1 degree closer. So
Right.
you're welcome.
That's awesome. I feel famous too.
You basically are.
And so that's how we first were aware of each other. And then I think I started following you online. And then all I saw were these posts that were so awesome. And everyone was so long and well written. I love it. But then at the end, you had hashtag your story matters. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yep.
So I just thought that was really cool. And then I found out that you worked for Camp Korey.
I do.
And I was like, wait, I've heard so much about that place. So give me a rundown. I pass it all the time when I go on Highway 9.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So, I've worked at Camp Korey. This is actually, I think I'm going on my 4th year. I started in April of 2019. So I had 1 summer of normal camp. And then,
What do you mean? What happened?
something happened in 2020 that was very challenging for
Knock on wood.
summer camps, especially.
Yeah.
But no, Camp Korey is an amazing place. It's an organization that it was founded by actually the amazing Paul Newman.
Oh,
So if you're ever at
I
the
didn't know
grocery
that.
store and you see the Newman's Own products and it says 100% profits to charity, Camp Korey is one of those charities. So
No
you are
way.
actually eating popcorn and sending a kid to camp, which is pretty great.
Well, they have salad dressings
They
too.
do have salad
and Olive's
dressing.
been bugging me to get ranch. And now I will go get
I should have brought you a bottle.
No, I want to
Next
help.
time.
I want to help. I want to help.
So yeah, he's Paul
really
Newman
cool.
many years ago started the he did Hole in the Wall gang camp out in Connecticut. So
Okay.
he brought all of his famous and rich Hollywood friends out there. They started this camp, and so it was primarily for kids with cancer. And so then it has grown into the Serious Fun Children's Network, which is I think there's 9 camps in the U.S. and then 13 internationally that run programs for kids with complex and life-altering medical conditions completely free of charge. So kids get to come to camp. They don't have to worry about a thing. They just get to come, be kids for the first time,
Wow.
sometimes in their whole life, staying away from home. And we have full medical team, full medical support, and they just show up at the gate and we provide everything for them.
Really? Wow. I didn't know that.
Yep.
And that's here.
It's right here.
Wow.
Yep. So we actually were down in Carnation is where we first started, and we were renting Carnation Farms, and then we moved up to the old Camp Brotherhood site on Highway 9 about 6 years ago, I think. Purchased that property so we could sort of make our own equity, build our own space. I always joke that we got the property, which was, it was founded by a Catholic priest and a Jewish rabbi. They came together and said, we want to make a camp. So they formed Camp Brotherhood, and then we purchased that property, and we got a Catholic priest and a Catholic nun with it. And then so we've slowly just been making it into our own for the last couple of years, which has been amazing.
Yeah.
Just built new cabins, so we get to get more campers and
Wow.
do a lot of cool things. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I guess what distance do you get kids from?
We get kids from anywhere.
Like
So
Vancouver, Canada?
yeah.
Okay.
So we are the one in the Pacific Northwest. So our closest sister camps in the Serious Fun Network. One would be down in California.
Oh.
And then the other one is over in Colorado. So we kind of have this big Pacific Northwest area. And then we partner with some amazing organizations like Angel Flights, who do free flights for kids for medical appointments, and they'll fly them for camp too. So I think it's like 600, 700 miles radius.
Wow.
Or parents can just drive from wherever, and if they need assistance on transportation, we'll help with that. So it's pretty amazing.
Wow. That's
People are always
awesome.
like, what's the catch? And I'm like, the catch is kids should be kids and they get to come to camp, right? Like there's no catch other
Yeah.
than what you got to donate.
Yeah.
You know?
We're always taking donations.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really interesting that they're looking for a catch, because I don't know. these
Always.
days, yeah.
What? Yeah, because
This is
nothing
too
is ever
good to be
free, right?
true.
Yeah, there's always
Yeah.
a hook. There's always something. And I'm always just like, no. If your kid qualifies medically,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Send
Fill out
'em.
this form.
We want
yeah.
'em.
Good to go. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Super fun.
Neat. And so you've been there for 4 years.
4 years. Yep. So I started on the program side. I moved into the camp director role through COVID and all of that. And then recently transitioned into community engagement. So
Yeah.
a little life balance. That's a little bit better. I've been working in camps for a very, very long time.
I was going to say, what'd you do before this?
I worked at camp.
Yeah.
Which is how I know Russ and Tanya. Their kids all came up through camp.
Okay.
So I was their kids like program counselor, things like that, and then ended up hiring them when they got older. So I've known that family forever.
Oh wow! So they worked there, the kids, or they did?
They did. Once they aged out, then they started working as counselors too. So
wow,
pretty great.
So you hire kids to work for the as like team camp counselors. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many people work there on a regular basis
at Camp Korey?
Yeah.
So our year-round team is, I want to say it's about like 25 or 30.
Yeah.
And then in the summer we kind of double that. So we hire a ton of seasonal staff that come in, and then they're there for about 10, 12 weeks in the summer. Live there. They get all their, room and board, and then they get to hang out with awesome kids.
Wow.
Yep.
That's really cool. I was just thinking, I really want to go and check it out.
Well, we're always looking for volunteers. Next time you're driving by, just come on in.
Yeah.
Anyone's welcome. Come get a tour. We'd love to tell more about it, show you around. I always think it's more magical when you're there. There's always just such an energy in what I like to call sacred spaces. And I think Camp Korey is one of those, it just has this power and magical energy that's there. I think because we get to do such amazing things for amazing kids.
Yeah.
The site just has its own sort of space that is held.
Have you ever heard of Subdued String Band Jamboree?
Of course I have. I live in Bellingham.
Well, you say of course, but I was just talking to someone, they had never heard of it, and they're a musician. I just thought everyone knew about it. But my friend was telling me about it. He explained it in detail, and I said, I still don't know what you're talking about. And then I went there, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. And we've been every year.
Oh, see, I've never been.
You've never been?
I've never been, but I know all about it. I was actually just at where was I? Boundary Bay on St. Patrick's Day. Okay. And one of the bands that was playing there, he was I think he's the founder of it or the creator.
Oh, Robert Blake,
the guy with the guitar. I'm not sure. That's what
funny.
His name is,
I think his name is Robert Blake. And that's funny because I went to a show in Canada 3 weeks ago, and the guy who owns the restaurant up there, he was talking about Subdued, and I was like, oh yeah, I know that. And then he mentioned Robert Blake, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. He's like, that's the guy that started it.
He's the guy.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know who he is
but
either.
it's the kind of thing where it sounds amazing, and my friend was going on about it. Yeah, okay, whatever. And then when I showed up, I went, yes. Oh my gosh, you're so right. So Camp Korey is probably the same where like you explain it, it sounds amazing. You're like, you just got to come see it. And then you come see it and you're blown away. And yeah.
And so often like our volunteers come in and they're like, I'm just going to volunteer for a weekend. And then you're like, do you work here now? Like I see you here all the, like they just get hooked and they can't stop. So
that's awesome. That's so good to hear.
When it's always fun to sort of give back, right? In a way that's meaningful and has impact.
Yeah. I was telling a friend, because we were talking about just being busy, and I said, well, I think it has bad connotations. Like when you're so busy, it's a negative thing, but you could be busy doing all the right stuff. Like I had told a friend about all this stuff I was doing, and she said, I hadn't seen her for a while. And she said, oh, when did you quit teaching? I said, oh no, I teach all day, Monday through Friday, but then I do this and I do the liquor store on Saturdays in Concrete, and I do, all this other stuff. And oh my gosh, like you're so busy. I'm like, well, yeah, but it's all like stuff that I'm choosing that I want to do. Whereas I have been roped into stuff that I just felt guilty and said yes to, and I didn't want to. And then it's a burden. Yep. Right. Yep. So where you like over people pleasing and just saying, is it that guilty face? Is that?
Yeah, I think people like who work in social work or people who work with kids, or I think we all sort of have a tendency
teachers
to
are
be
martyrs. Yeah,
martyrs. I'm an empath, and it's like, well, also you can say no.
Yeah,
and I'm like, can I though? But what about their feelings?
So then you worked at camp before. So are you from Bellingham?
I grew up in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm a Valley girl.
Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I've lived in Bellingham for 10-ish years now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how about traveling around the world?
Yes.
Please say you've been to Canada.
I have been in Canada, yes.
So many people haven't here.
I've never been to Mexico.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny. So yes, my family actually grew up traveling. That I was younger then. So this is actually a very important story to me.
From New Zealand?
No, from Australia.
Oh, okay.
So when we went, we were allowed to, because I was younger, so we were allowed to bring one personal item.
Okay.
Kind of like Survivor. In the early days.
You can bring a knife, or you can bring.
And I was like, I'm going to bring my stuffed animal who's a koala bear. His name was Wally. I was very obsessed with him. He was just a small little koala. And for all of our family vacations, the kids, we each got to pick one thing that we wanted to do too. So mine was Australia, and I wanted to see a koala. Like, that was my dream. So we get to Australia, we get to the Australian Zoo. I have Wally, who had recently been puked on because I get seasick. So he was a little mangy, but I had him and I was ready to show him to the koalas in the zoo and be like, look at us, we're from America.
You wanted to show it to the koalas.
Yeah, totally. We get to the koala exhibit, and there's red tape all around it, and it is quarantine. It's shut down to redo the exhibit.
Wow.
Devastating.
Yeah.
I sobbed. I was crying.
Your eyes are wet telling the story.
I'm just thinking about it. It really makes me emotional. But so my dad's also just a swindler guy. He was always the one who could make a thing happen. And so I'm sure he disappeared for a minute. Not much longer later, crying, sad little Nichol gets led to the back through the back gates, back through wherever, into the koala cage. The koalas weren't quarantined. They were just redoing it. So I not only got to see them through the glass, I got to be in their cage with them.
Oh my gosh.
And it was magical.
Wow. That's really cool.
Pretty amazing. I think that was the highlight of that trip for me.
That's awesome. Where do you want to go next?
Oh, man.
Because you're not with your family, right? Just let's say just you. Like, where do you want to go?
Great question. And I think about this a lot, and it changes a lot.
Okay.
I used to be very obsessed with like mountains, so like Mount Everest, and my dream for a long time was to trek from Kathmandu to Everest Base Camp. I had a dog named Everest. I read every book. Like, I was very obsessed. And then I realized I don't really like hiking or walking for long distances or sleeping in the cold, or really just cold weather in general. And so it shifted pretty significantly to where's good beaches and
is there a mountain on the beach?
Where do I want to go?
Volcanoes.
That's a little tropical and warm and things like that. So really weird.
Okay, so you did 4 months there.
Yeah, 4.5 months in Papua New Guinea.
Okay, and what happened?
What happened? Which story?
Wait, how old were you?
I was in my 20s. I was like 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like bad weather, unfortunate organizations you worked with.
Well, okay. So I don't know if you know
scary.
anything about Papua New Guinea.
Nothing.
Most people don't.
Just a heads up. So my friend was talking about Delaware, and I said, dude, you give me a map, I can't tell you where Delaware is. I know I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
But also I'm just not good with geography. I can tell you where the big ones are.
Yeah.
The big states. But those little ones. And then I asked him about Florida. That's where he lives. I said, do you live like on the part that kind of like sticks down? He's like, most of Florida does that. I go, really? And he's like, what's wrong with you?
Are you by the water?
So anyway, I don't know anything about.
So it's an island just north of Australia.
Okay, Australia, got it.
Yeah. So like if you are looking at a map and here's Australia,
is it by Bali?
It's in it's in the South Pacific. It's
okay,
Indonesia.
I've been to Bali. Okay.
Area.
Okay.
But it's like one of the most remote and undeveloped countries in the whole world.
Okay.
So, I mean, their villages, some people haven't even seen white people before.
Oh.
Like that remote.
Yeah.
So, so let's throw 6 Americans with puppets into this country, right? Like that tracks. That feels good. I mean, blonde girls,
were all of you blonde?
2 of us were, and 2 were brunette, and then there was 2 guys that were with us too. So it was wild. Yeah, there was definitely some unsafe moments. There's definitely some a lot of poop stories.
Okay, like what?
Oh man. There's
no topics off limit here.
No, I know, which is great.
You can swear if you need to.
Actually, side note. So my friends and I we actually bought the domain name for this and everything, but we have.
I love this already.
We have a very specific podcast that we're going to do called Poop Lore, where it's literally people calling in and like telling their poop stories because everyone has one, right?
100.
And they're so funny, like just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So mine isn't even mine. It wasn't me, but so one of my teammates. Gosh, how do we even start this? Because there's a lot of layers to it. Okay, so let's just say we're in this village.
Okay.
Our driver was supposed to pick us up. He did not. Because he had died in the night. Oh my God. And so we were like, okay.
You got me laughing.
No, it only gets weirder. That's why I was like, where do I start with this? So he died in the night. And so then their custom is to have a wake.
Immediately?
Well, yeah.
Within an hour? Okay.
I guess. Well, he died at night, and so what do you do with the body? I guess you put it on a bench in the church that we were then doing a puppet show at later. So, yes, imagine what I'm saying. We're doing some songs and puppetry in the front, and our driver is lying on a bench, dead, in the back. So that happened.
He didn't get mauled though. He's not like bleeding.
No,
he
died
had a
of
heart
malaria
attack or something.
or
Oh, okay.
something.
But no like open wounds.
No. He just looked like he was sleeping.
Oh, okay.
Which feels better,
good.
I guess.
That's fine then. Yeah.
So that happened. So we were trying to go to another town up in the Highlands. So we were down in the beach.
Yeah.
And we were trying to go up to the mountains. So we had to get a new driver.
Okay.
And so we got a new driver, and going up to the Highlands there's only one road, and we are pretty prominent 6 white people traveling, and somehow we just kept picking up more and more people. Like we had this entourage of people we traveled in the back of like trucks, and just so unsafe.
Okay,
just anything that you can imagine that's unsafe, we probably did. So we get a police escort, what they tell us is going to be a police escort to get us out of town and up to the Highlands through like this place that is less than safe on this mountain road.
Okay.
So our driver that was going to drive can no longer drive for obvious reasons. So and Papua New Guinea has what a lot of island countries have called it Papua New Guinea time, right? So they say you're going to leave at 10, you don't
like
leave until like
time.
3, right? So everything's delayed. Everything's crazy. So we finally get a car and we're going to go, and the police just never show up, and we're finally just like, we have to go. And so, cause we didn't want to be at night for sure. So we get in the car and we're driving. So we're all packed in. It was like a Vanagon kind of thing, you know? So we're all, and I remember I was sitting right in the middle seat, right. So I could see right out the front window. And we're just driving along, and our new driver, he's driving, and then his bodyguard, his buddy, is there. And so we're just kind of going, and then I'm looking, and I'm like thinking, oh, there's some people, and they have this huge log. And so I'm like, they're getting firewood. That's neat. But they start to drag it across the road. So I'm thinking, well, we're going to run over these poor people getting firewood, because our driver then proceeds to hit the gas super fast. So as he starts to hit the gas, and what happens is, what they were trying to do was put a log in front of us and a log in back of us to stop us so we couldn't get past. And then they call them rascals, which sounds like a not very scary name. Yeah,
cute.
They're coming out with machetes out of the bush at us. So now we're like driving. He's speeding up. I'm thinking we're going to run into these people getting firewood.
Nice people, yeah.
Who turn out to be rascals. So then as he's slowing down to like screech around the log that's almost across the road, we kind of go off the road a little bit. These people start coming out of so luckily he was like aware enough. I don't know if our other driver would have been that aware.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was like on our way up to the Highlands. So we get out, or we get just a little bit past that. He like screeches off the road. And I'm like, what is going on? And we're all just freaked out, right? Because we're going away from a major town into like
the
the who knows what. And so he stops the car. And so I'm like, what are you doing? And he says, he's a better shot than me. And I'm like, what? So he gets out. They do a Chinese fire drill. The driver gets in the front seat. And then
Lord.
the other guy gets in the driver's seat because the one guy was a better shot.
Yeah.
So then we just drive on through a few rivers.
Oh, just in case they had to shoot somebody.
Just in case.
Wow.
So they had to switch spots. So luckily, I don't think there was anything else that happened on that trip up to the top. I think we got there safe. And then when we got there, so here's where the poop story comes in.
Oh, geez.
So we get, so we're at this village, and so the house that we were staying in, so it has dirt floor on one side, and then it's like woven like reeds and stuff as sort of the walls.
Yeah.
And then it's like bamboo that you sleep on, and then we all had just sort of like not air mattresses, but like those camping ones, which is probably why I don't like camping anymore.
Yeah, that must be
like,
it.
really ruined me. So we're in there. So it's wood and there's a fire pit inside. So like I said, I have 5 other teammates. And so we were doing different things at different times. So one of my teammates had been lying in there. And so I was like, I had to go teach a puppet workshop, as one does. In Papua New Guinea in a different language.
Guys, you're either going to be a puppet master or a rascal. Like, choose a career.
Yeah, choose a career. I know which one's better.
Or a driver. There's 3 careers here.
Or just be entourage for whoever. Because at this point, we had a lot. So anyways, I knew she wasn't feeling well, my friend Korey. And so I went and I did my thing. So I came back to check in on her after my thing. And I come back. And the owner of the house is sweeping something into the fire pit, like just the dirt.
Yeah.
And so I walk in and I'm like, Cooley. I was like, cool. We called her Cooley. I was like, Cooley, are you? And my other teammate Rob, he was like, she's not in here. He's like, watch where you stand. She shit all over the floor. And I'm like, what? So I looked down. So the poor girl tried to go outside, didn't make it. So now the owner of the house is sweeping her poop into the fire pit. So now that's getting lit. So where we're sleeping is going to be covered in her burning poop particles that we have to sleep in. And so I'm like, where is she? And he's like, I don't know, out back. And I was like, oh, right. So I go around and she's standing there. And I can so vividly see her, because it was just this look of utter defeat of like, I don't even know what to do with myself. She was like, oh my gosh. She had a pile of toilet paper like this high. There's no running water in Papua New Guinea either.
Oh,
so everything's a pit toilet, and you bathe in the river.
And you're up high. So was there running water near you?
Well, the river.
Oh, okay.
Is where you would go to bathe. So which is half a mile away.
Oh gosh.
So this poor girl, now she has this pile of toilet paper. She's standing there just naked, because what are you going to do at this juncture? It's like, oh my and she just was like, I don't know. And I was like, buddy, like, I don't know either. And then this village mom, like a couple women, they came and got her. They gave her a new outfit and grabbed her hands, which I thought was a little risky.
Yeah.
And just let her down to the river. And so then I went back in and was like, Rob, what the heck? He's like, I'm reading. Like, you're such a jerk. I'm reading. So anyways, they end up leaving. 4 of them end up leaving to go get her checked out, because we thought maybe she had typhoid or something.
Wow.
So they leave to go into a major town. So me and my other teammate, Chad, stayed in that village alone in the poop burning house.
Wow. Was that like your only kind of like brush with death?
No.
Okay.
No, there was quite a few.
Okay.
In Papua New Guinea?
Yeah.
One we went to, so this was, my other teammate Jenny wasn't feeling well, so she and someone else stayed back at a different village. We got brought up to this remote village, and they told us there's a lot of infighting in all of the villages, so you are here to do a revival and bring peace. And we were like, what?
Solve our country's problems.
Yeah. They were like, so you will sing from now until morning. And we're like, that's 12 hours.
Put the puppet on your hand
right
now.
I was like, 12 hours of singing.
This is the song.
Yeah. I was like, we don't know that many songs. And what? Like, how is our weird singing going to change what's happening here? Well, then they ended up realizing maybe they heard our songs for the like 80th time and were like,
they're like,
let's take
please.
a break.
It's been 3 hours.
So they put us into our hut and they locked us in.
What?
Instead of letting us out. So for safety, they locked us in. But then I was like, I have to pee.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to pee into like a lid, then pour it into a can. I was the worst. But I'm pretty sure we created world peace that night.
Yeah.
Some Indigo Girls really create magic.
Did you really sing Indigo Girls?
Of course we did.
Like,
Closer to Fine is really
any song you can think of.
Exactly.
You're like singing jingles.
Exactly,
like.
totally. It was like Smell a Cat. It's funny awesome. You would say that you had that cathartic sort of needed moment at the Green Frog, because I had a similar experience there.
Oh, at the Green Frog?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard of Griffin House? He might be my all-time favorite singer-songwriter.
Yes.
I love him.
I have a story
Griffin
about
House,
that too.
This was quite a few years ago. So he was doing a show at the Green Frog, and you know the Green Frog. It's small, it's intimate, it's dark. It's just a lovely space for that kind of a show.
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad had Alzheimer's, and he got it fairly young. Mm-hmm. And so he ended that day that Griffin House played at the Green Frog that time. My dad had gone into his nursing home, mm-hmm. which is obviously a pretty traumatic moment for my whole family and for my mom and I and everything. And so I just remember going in and just needing the power of his music, and there's one song that he sings particularly called Blood in My Veins, and that just like talks about history and stories, and he's very good at sort of sharing his family's stories through words and through songs. And so there was just a couple songs and I'm just sobbing, right? Like,
oh my gosh.
But like in a really just like beautiful way. So every time I hear those songs, it reminds me of, that moment and kind of the transition and all of those things. So, and
how old was your dad when he went to the home?
He was, oh gosh, maybe 70.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom had taken care of him at home up until she couldn't, and then
so he was obviously like experiencing symptoms a lot.
Yeah. So we didn't move him into the home until she just couldn't take care of him anymore. Yeah. So we were super nervous, right? Because you never know what he's gonna be or how he's gonna react. And so it was funny. My mom and I had gone the day before to sort of get his room ready and set it up so there would be his things when he got in there, and it would feel familiar.
Yeah.
And so then the next day, she was gonna take him solo because that, and so I was so nervous the whole day because I was just like wanting it to go really well and wanting it to not be traumatic for either of them and everything. And so she calls me not long after she was supposed to drop him off, and I was like, how did it go? And she's like, well, it couldn't have gone any better. And I was like, okay, tell me more.
Tell me more.
So he goes in, and his first thing he says, oh, is this a new restaurant? And so my mom was like, yeah, because when someone has Alzheimer's, you just sort of live in their world, right? You navigate whatever they're feeling in that moment, because there's no,
like, you don't correct them or
no
anything.
Need to,
and,
right? There's zero need. And so she was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go and you'll get to eat here. It'll be great. And so she gets them all settled, or she gets them in, and so the first thing that they do is sort of the intake and the medical forms and stuff. And then at that point he was needing assistance in the bathroom and stuff. So went in and came out. And so she said he was in there, and she wanted to make sure that the aides like took care of him so that he got used to that without her being there and stuff. And so I guess he went in, and as he was coming out, my mom was nervous, right? She was like, I don't know how this went. And so he like opens the door and he goes, hello, ladies. And he like walks out into the room, and my mom was like, great. That's perfect.
Awesome.
So she felt good about him like being there and feeling safe and good and all those things. So
that's awesome.
Hello, ladies.
I was actually looking, because when you said Griffin House, I thought right away, I think this was the band. So my friend had given me this paper, and I want to say, I think he saw Griffin House. I think they were here recently.
Yeah, he was in Bellingham. It's just one guy. His name is Griffin House.
Oh, that's his name.
His literal name is Griffin House. I know. It was confusing. I had to ask him. I was like, what? And he's like, no, it's literally my name.
Yeah. Oh, you met him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you see the recent show then?
I did.
Oh, cool. Okay, so yeah, that was the show my friend went to.
Mm-hmm.
So he came back and he said, hey, I got a piece of paper for you. I said, what? He's like, well, I know you love lyrics. And I went to Griffin House and he said this line. Sorry, I'm going to cry. He goes, he said this line. I just thought, oh, man, let's Liz. So he wrote it down and he's like, I've had it in my pocket for like a week and I finally remembered to give it to you. So it's from the...
Avo, can we just pause and say how beautiful that is to have a friend like that? Like, I think that's so magical.
Yeah.
To just have people think... I mean, you don't have to give people gifts of things. Like, that is such a beautiful gift to have a friend that's like, I thought of you when this thing, and I've been carrying it around in my pocket for a week and now I see it. Like,
I know.
Love.
I know.
I love that person already.
Do you know the song Go Through It?
Yeah, of course. Come on, Liz.
We say of course, but I don't know.
I'm just saying of course because it's Griffin House, of course.
So
yes,
he wrote down these lyrics. You can't get around
what you got to go through.
Yep. Yeah, because like I couldn't avoid all this stuff that Olive had to go through. Like I had to go through it. Everything. I needed that more than anything. So yeah, it was really, really beautiful when Joe gave me those lyrics, and it just hit me.
I love that.
So yeah, and that's the only Griffin House song I know. So I feel like I'm going to dive into the catalog a bit more.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's great.
Singer-songwriter, your thing. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
That's awesome.
And I got to give a shout out to Whiskey Fever because
know
I love them, even though they broke up and broke my heart. But and Jack still owes me a unicorn song. You owe me a unicorn song.
Oh, he owes you a unicorn song.
Yes.
Okay.
I would burned him a spoon with his face on it, and it says the unicorn song on the back. And he promised me that if I did give him something like that he would write me a unicorn song.
Wow. Has this ever been on record before? Is this the first time?
Oh, no. I think at every show I yell the unicorns. Everyone yells it now.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, no. I mean, one time he did a little fake
Well, now
one.
this is on record. That
now it's on for sure record.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jack, if you ever listen to this.
No. He already knows.
Funny.
The universe.
The Horseshoe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Do you go there?
I usually go to the Beaver. Which
See,
is
I've
next
never
door.
been there.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
The Beaver, that's my jam.
Really?
Yep. Shout out to Dawn, my bartender.
I have to give you this, and you can wear it to the Beaver. Hang on one sec.
Oh, my gosh. Please tell me.
What's your favorite thing to drink at the Beaver or eat?
Well, I'm usually a double tall gin and tonic with extra lime girl.
That's very specific.
Yeah. But I've been recently going a beaver. It's a pin with it's a beaver.
It's a bumblebee that looks like a beaver.
I'm obsessed.
That's an original design. That's mine.
I'm obsessed.
Also, there's an Easter edition, and the beaver's wearing like bunny ears.
Yes, he is.
There's also a Christmas edition. It's a Santa hat. Plays it every time he plays live. My point of bringing that up is that he's playing at Stone's Throw tonight, and I know you said you were busy.
My Joe Pug friend, she just invited me to it.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
So she's going.
She's going.
Okay, you'll have to somehow connect us because I want to meet her for some reason.
Oh, you should. You should actually have her on the.
Really? What's her story?
She hiked the PCT.
PCT.
Yeah, she has 2 kids. She's like an architect.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Even just the PCT.
I know.
We could talk about that for 3 hours.
She also has a poop story.
Does she?
From the Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay. Oh, you went there with her? Like, how did you meet her?
We met on a softball team.
Do you play co-ed?
Well, I did that one year.
I can see you playing co-ed softball.
No, I'm so slow. When you said he wouldn't survive, I would not survive the zombie apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Either. Otherwise, unless I had to outsmart them, I could like do it that way, but I could never outrun. I'm slow. Yeah. I'm so slow. Literally so slow. But no, my friends had a team called Army of Darkness, and they needed some girls, so they rounded up some girls, and Cheryl happened to be one of those. And the moment we met, she was at the show. She was at the Whiskey Fever show.
Oh, was she?
Or the Jack show?
Was she?
She has curly hair.
Standing up beside you?
She may have popped back.
Okay.
But she was more up in the front. I had a big group of friends in the front.
Oh,
too.
did you? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So she has super curly hair.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, she would have greats.
Yeah. She hiked the whole PCT?
She did she did the whole thing. She skipped a little chunk in the middle because of fire.
But yeah, I love stories, and I just love hearing them and telling them, and you never know what's the one thing that you're going to say that changes someone, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
so
I resonated so much with what you were talking about as like a parent of a kid with a medical condition, right? Like,
do you have kids?
No.
I didn't ask you. I'm
No,
sorry.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Not interested.
You just help a ton.
I help a ton, and then they go home, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I know a lot of teachers like that.
Yep. But one of my favorite parts at working at Camp Korey is obviously the kid component. But the last 2 years, primarily, we've been doing family camp in order to get them to camp safely with COVID and everything. What we figured what we could do was have parents and caregivers and siblings come. So then when you eat and sleep, which is when masks are off and the highest risk, it's not a stranger in the cabin or a counselor in the cabin, right? Like it's just that family unit. And so with that, we were able to do it was like this beautiful silver lining that was unexpected, programming specifically centered around parents. And they were able to talk about their medical journey with other parents on the same journey.
Oh,
which
that's amazing.
It was so powerful. And we're very intentional in how we set up our program. So like our weeks are condition specific. So other kids see other kids on similar medical journeys that they're on and things like that. So, cause there's power in that, right? To know you're not alone. But parents as well, like there is such an isolating component to feeling like I have to deal with this all by myself and I have to figure it out and navigate, all of the things, navigate school and navigate how do I get my kid to be able to go down and see the seals in San Diego? Like, what does this look like and how do I do these things with whatever adaptive or, needs you have specifically? And so I always loved parent coffee hour. It was always sort of my favorite time of the day.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Just to be able to not even have to talk about it, but just facilitate and start the conversation. And so often then it just, they take it from there because they have so much to say and so much advice. And, if you have a kid who's 7 and there's somebody who has a kid who's 13, like, what does it look like with this medical condition navigating through puberty or whatever, and it's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. Oh, I can't wait to come out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to come.
Yay. Oh,
Bring Olive.
I got the tingles. I'm like, this is going to like change my life. I could just something will click, or I'll tell someone, or somebody will listen to this, or I'll tell someone about it and they'll go out there and they'll be like working out there. Well,
I hope so. Well, and I would be remiss not to mention the other camp that I also,
please do.
So and you were mentioning scars.
Yeah.
So I volunteered at camp because why wouldn't you volunteer to camp when you work at a camp?
Of course.
I volunteer for a camp called Camp Phoenix. And it's for kids that are burn survivors. So we bring in kids from all over the country who have been burned, and we get to do camp with them. And it's so amazing and so powerful. I mean, scars tell a story, and especially if you're a burn survivor, they tell a very powerful story and a powerful journey. And depending on where and how much you've been burned, it really, I never realized until I started doing burn camp how few burn survivors you see out in the community, just in general.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so we get to like bring them in, give them love, give them touch, give them hugs, give them like all of this thing to be able to then have them be able to have a safe space to tell their story, because so often those are traumatic. So often those are challenging. So often those are scary stories. And so we just give them this space to like, they have survivor talks where they get to talk about their story and they get to like get comfortable sharing it and being comfortable around other people who are burn survivors. Because there is so often this stigma and you just don't see very many.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
That's really interesting that you said like we get to hug them.
Mm-hmm. We get to hug
them. And I'm like, I wonder that's something that they don't do.
Well, and even like if somebody has lost their fingers, so they have what we call paddles or nubs or whatever, and you just hold their nub, right? Like, and touch their scars. Like so often I think people are scared of scars and scared of that human touch component. And I know a lot of them have said, it feels good to like have because they never get touched like that. Just another human touch, not in a weird way, but just in a way of like, you're a human that deserves this, right?
Yeah.
I want to hold your hand.
Well, and your new best friend John Craigie from this song. I
had a microphone incident too.
1v1.
Yes.
But he has this other song called Manifesto, and he talks about how, he says this is a new stage. He talks about how, like, all these greats of the past have never sang here. Like, it's just me. And he says, we have to believe that what the songs that we're writing are better than the legends of the past. And he says, otherwise, what's the point? Mm-hmm. He said, and he says, like, me and my friends are out here trying. And I think about all the amazing musicians in the Valley, and they're out here all the time, just like trying. And he's like, I'm not saying it's me, but we have to believe that we're better. Otherwise, what's the point? And I take those words, otherwise, what's the point, for everything. Like, I was mentioning, like, I did a race 5 years ago that I DNF'd. That means did not finish. I tried to do the Checking Out 50K. I got pulled on mile 20. It, like, ruined me, but it actually changed my life because I ended up meeting someone at that aid station that I connected with and got me upriver. And I just did the race 2 weeks ago and I finished it.
Yay!
And I was just saying how, like, it was so hard. I wasn't even trained for the race, but I pushed through mentally and I finished it. And I just said, just go do something hard. And I said, every day, like, just try. And I just, otherwise, what's the point? Like, why are you here? So he was referring to music, but I just take those words with me, and it'll probably be a tattoo at some point.
What's the point? I mean, I think that I am in a similar vein, right? Like, anywhere you go, you have an opportunity to hear someone's story, to hear just a snippet of who they are and a piece of their heart, right? You get to, like, magnet to yourself in some way and learn from or grow from or just experience along with them. And I think it's fun, right? It's fun to, like, meet someone at a random music show and now be in their house in their attic, like, right? Like, that's fun, as long as you're not a creeper murderer, which I'm still alive.
Thank you for trusting me.
Feel good.
Well, we're not done yet. No. But, like, we talked about being busy. Yeah.
I was obsessed with a street sweeper in COVID. Like, he was sort of my...
Oh, I thought that was going to be our first conversation.
I know,
I saw
you never even brought it up.
I was
I'm a little disappointed.
Oh, so you meant the person, the street sweeper? Because I thought it was just the actual...
it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
No, it was actually...
Tell the story while I text my friend and tell her that I'm home. Okay.
So COVID was rough, right? And so I lived downtown Bellingham. So right on the railroad, right on the corner of Railroad and Holly. And so... It's always a hubbub of things going down, but then COVID hit and it became a ghost town. So, the street, I always had to park on different sides because on Tuesdays you can only park here because the street sweeper comes, and then Monday's only here. So I was very good at, like, navigating where to park on what days. But I never had actually seen the street sweeper because it comes in the middle of the night, nor would I ever have thought about it, honestly, because who really thinks about the street sweeper?
Yeah.
Well, so I was sitting when it's like 10 o'clock during COVID, and all of a sudden I hear and see the lights, and it was wide open because nobody had parked downtown, so they could make their rounds a lot faster because they're not weaving around cars and doing all this stuff. And so it just sort of became this thing that every Sunday night, or no, was it Sundays? No, Sunday. He's now in Fairhaven on Sundays. It's Monday nights. I moved, so I'm like, I have to remember what day. So every Monday night, it just became a thing. I'd get so excited when I'd see the flashing lights. I started to be able to, like, hear it. Like, I'd always had my windows open just because fresh air and stuff. And so it just became this thing, and people became sort of a little bit obsessed with it. Everyone was a little traumatized because of COVID, and so we were bored. But, I think it was just this fun thing to narrate. I'd put it to music sometimes.
What?
Like, and so then one night I was like, I'm going to go meet him. Like, I'm just going to go hold up a sign and be like, you sweep me off my feet. Or
I'm so excited.
Right? Like, I was just like, I'm just going to go cheer him on for being a street sweeper because why not?
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, and this was like later in the night or whatever. So I, like, ran outside. I'm in my pajamas. I have this, like, sign that I'd made that's, like, handwritten.
Oh my gosh.
And I was so excited, and he's coming down the road, and I'm standing there, and I'm the only one. It was like, a say anything moment, me with my radio. And I was like, and he drove right past me. Didn't even stop, didn't even honk, didn't even do anything. And I was devastated and also determined. I'm like you too, right? I was like,
if you tell me I can't do something, watch out.
This is not going to happen. So then I chased him. They don't go that fast. And I'm not that fast. So I sort of just waited for him to loop around again. And I So finally, like, he comes back to the corner, and I like basically jumped in front of him and was like, I was like, look, I'm trying to cheer you on. So he stops and he gets out, and he started laughing so hard. He's like, I didn't see you before. And I was like, okay, good. Cause I thought we were like breaking up or something. That was really devastating. And he was like, wait, are you the person I keep hearing about that is like tracking this? I was like, that's me.
Oh, he had heard of you.
Apparently, like, yeah, somehow.
Okay.
And so
because everyone's bored. Yeah.
everyone's bored. So I took a selfie with him.
Oh my gosh.
And so posted it. One of my friends like writes back. She's like, I dated him. What? She's like, I know that guy. I dated him.
Was it always him in the truck?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. It wasn't.
You're like, I'm in love with the truck, dude.
I am in love with the truck. Like, I thought it's a majestic beast that like takes care of our streets. Like, he's an unsung hero.
A majestic beast.
It was, and it's light. It was so glorious. So it is glorious. Well, then it turned into this thing. I actually just got a text today. So people started noticing the street sweeper in their neighborhoods and would send me videos or pictures of the street sweeper. And just, I think people really wanted it to turn into a love story where like I fell in love with the street sweeper, but that was never my goal. Like I just want to drive it, really. Like if I could drive it, it'd be like the most awesome thing
Do you
ever.
like a special class of license?
Yeah, I don't know.
wonder?
I need to find out.
I'm surprised you haven't researched this.
I know. Well, then a couple weeks ago, I was with my friend Cheryl, and
I can't wait to meet Cheryl.
He came. The street sweeper came down, and I saw it, and he was going the wrong way up a one way, and so I was like, "Listen, buddy, what's happening?"
Yeah.
So we run over and stop him. Same thing, and I just freaked out. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was a different guy. Freaked out. We got selfies, did all the things.
Yeah. Why was he going the wrong way?
I'm not really sure.
Maybe a new guy. He didn't really know what to do.
I don't
Didn't
know.
care.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
I think he was just like, whatever.
This
This
is
is
gotta get
faster.
this done. He saw you coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
was
other
like,
way. Oh
So,
my gosh,
the
that's
street
awesome.
sweeper.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a glorious machine.
I love that.
The lights.
Have you been to a hockey game?
Well, yes.
Have you seen a Zamboni?
Also a lifelong dream.
To drive a Zamboni?
Yeah. So I was the mascot for the Bellingham Bells baseball team.
What?
For many years.
Why didn't you open with
I
this?
don't know. I forgot.
Like you were inside.
Yeah, a Dinger the hamster.
I've
the
never been
Bellingham
there.
hamster.
Do I need to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have
All right.
Camp Korey night. You should come.
Okay, cool.
I'll get you in. No, yeah, I was Dinger for many years in the hamster suit. I have more stories about that, but we went to a hockey game with a whole bunch of other mascots for like a fan appreciation, and so I had to like go out on the ice, and I was terrified because it's like if I fall over on the ice, I'm never getting back up because it's
Are
like
you a skater?
giant. No.
Oh, were you
And
in skates or shoes?
I was in his feet,
Oh, duh.
which
Okay,
are like.
okay.
Slippery,
Yeah.
and it's a giant fat hamster,
And all the
and all you
mascots-
can see is out of his eyes or out of his mouth.
And all the mascots are on the ice.
All the mascots are on the ice, and they
How
were like,
many mascots? Like 20?
yeah,
10?
I think that event, yeah, we probably had about 15.
Oh
of
my
us.
gosh.
I don't know.
Did you
We
just
also went to the Moose's birthday party, which was funny.
I didn't know I was in the same room as a celebrity.
I know. But anyways, so I saw the Zamboni, and I said, can Dinger ride on the Zamboni?
You're like, I
I
don't
was like,
want
"Can
to. Dinger wants
yeah, I was like,
to.
"Can Dinger ride?" And they were like, yeah.
It's Dinger's lifelong
I
dream.
was like, that's all he's ever wanted. But it was like the very last thing after, and I was like, I don't want to stay because I'd been there for like all day, and I was hot and gross and disgusting from being in the suit. So I didn't do it, but it's still on the list.
Have you been to a Kraken game?
I have.
Yeah, I heard they're really good.
I'm not a big hockey person. I'm football.
I grew up,
baseball.
obviously,
Yeah,
a huge
you're-
Canucks fan. Hockey Night in Canada was like
Right.
my thing. Saturday nights, watching it. So, but when I met CJ, he was like, "Oh yeah, I really like football." I'm like, "Cool," but he would get up at 2 a.m. in South Korea to watch football, and I was like,
Who's his team?
This guy's insane."
No, he's normal.
Oh no,
who's this?
Seahawks.
Okay, good.
But I had never met an American that I never had a relationship with one, and I was like, I was talking to my family. I'm like, guys, he's crazy. He is so into football. We came back, went to a wedding in Trail, which is southern, southeastern BC. We're driving through the mountains. It was the first day of football, and CJ's got the AM radio trying to listen, and it's cutting in and out. And I was like, oh my God, he's so embarrassing. And my sisters are like, what's wrong with him? I'm like, I don't know. And then I moved here, and I was like, oh no, it's everybody.
I see now.
He's normal.
He's normal.
Because I'm like, my sisters are like, he sits on the couch because he watches the pregame.
Yeah, of course. 10 a.m.
6 a.m.
Oh.
He gets up early. 6 a.m. or whatever till 9 p.m. Yeah. They're like, that's weird. I'm like, I know, but everyone does it, guys. Then there's college.
Oh,
I didn't know about the rivalry thing. Huskies and Cougars. I had no idea.
Apple Cup.
Didn't know about that. In Canada, we don't do that.
You're too nice. You're like, oh,
so weird. I mean, college sports aren't really a thing. So, yeah. I mean, lot of culture shock when I got here. Even though I was like, it's all the same. It's Vancouver Island and Washington, like all the same. There's a lot of big differences for sure, and sports is a huge one. Yeah. So,
and Seahawks fans, we're all in. When
you're a big Seahawks fan. Well, you're wearing a Seahawks shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a Seahawks tattoo?
Do you
have any tattoos?
I do. I have a little fish.
Aww.
That.
Cute.
Old. Not relevant anymore.
What's your next one?
And then I have one on my foot too.
Yeah.
What is my next one? I'm not really sure. Oh, no, I do know. So my dad used to draw this little thing. It was like this sort of funny face thing. That's what he always did at the end of all of his cards. So when he passed away, I was like, I want to do his little thing on this wrist. And then my mom always does this like exclamation point with a smiley face. So I want to put that on there so they can be like,
oh, that's so adorable. Yeah. When are you going to get that?
Okay. What is it? What did you say? It's not
start with rubbish. Otherwise what's the point?
Otherwise what's the point?
Yes.
Why have it just rattle around in your brain?
Yeah.
Just go do it.
All right, so you're going to send me, well, I'll just listen to Griffin House. I'm sure everything is amazing. And I'll send you some links to John Craigie.
Yes.
And you'll love him. And storyteller, complete storyteller, and hilarious, and wears bell bottoms, and
amazing.
He's so cute. Just such a fun time. So at some point we'll go to a local show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep sending him to me. Well, and I work down here, so I'm always like drive up.
Yeah. Yay. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I hope this inspires you.
It was so fun
to start your own podcast.
Yes. I hope I don't sound like a weirdo.
Laptop. That's it. That's all you need.
Do you want to? Can I end on a joke?
Yeah.
Since you were in New Zealand,
yeah,
right? So do you know what I heard?
What?
Sheep. You're welcome.
On that note, thank you.
Bye.